National Freedom of Speech Week is celebrated in the third week every October. The elements of the freedom of speech have really come to the front with the advent of technology and the divisiveness in our country. And I have never experienced in my life so much censorship that it's astounding. And so I pose a question: how often, even many times a day, we all do, how often do you stop yourself from saying what you think? It's important that we do. We have to censor. But where those lines are is all over the place this day and age. There's 5 types of censorship. There's political censorship. There's none of that really going on in these days. Everybody's free to say what they want politically, and there's no repercussions. Wait a minute, that's not right. I'm self-censoring. There's religious censorship, where I love Jesus Christ, but I really have to find a way to censor myself. How do I share that? I share much less than some of my friends, and it's just a matter of self-censorship. There's currently online censorship, and online censorship has taken a very huge technology bent on censoring people. Case in point, the last couple of years when we went through the COVID, scientists in the field of epidemiology were heavily censored, because they didn't follow the line that the government wanted and Big Pharma wanted us to get. So there was an inordinate amount of censorship that went along online. People were blocked, canceled, prosecuted, put in jail. There are people that there's a guy that posted a meme that was meant to be funny that ended up spending like 6 months in jail. Educational censorship is another topic where our schools there's a balance of what should we censor to what we give our kids. Obviously, freedom of speech has a wide array of, it's a big range. And the last one is self-censorship, and that's the one I'm going to focus on for this little speech. So we have the right not to speak. This is an important right that we have. We have the right to be silent. And sometimes that is, and I found myself sometimes afterwards that I should have shut up. So we have the right to not speak, and I have to remind myself of that one a lot. We should have the right to express political opinions or scientific opinions, but in the environment that we live in, we really have to watch our audience, analyze what kind of repercussions, even punishment, that can come from expressing an opinion. We have the freedom of assembly. This is the ability to get together and cheer on whatever view we have. There is censorship around that. We have the right to petition our government, and we have the right, and there's the freedom of press. Now, along the lines of censorship, when we get to the freedom of press, here again, many of us in here are what are called content creators. Public speakers are content creators. And many times we have to really, right or wrong, and in every case is different, but we have to learn to censor what we can say online, what we can write, what we can perform, for the fear of punishment, of the repercussions. We have to be careful the words that we use, and we all self-censor. Case in point, we use the alphabet to indicate a word that we want to say, but we don't say. We could say the A word, the B word, the C word, the D word, and the F word instead of saying the word. But when we're saying that, we're indicating a word that people know, but that is we're still censoring. So why do we censor? Why do we self-censor? Much of the time it's a protective mechanism. We want to get an idea across, but we have to be careful. And this is a good thing. We have to be careful and we have to censor ourselves. The effects of self-censorship can be varied. How do we overcome self-censorship? Be brave. Be careful, but be brave. Self-censorship is a complex issue, and it has both positive and negative effects. I'm going to encourage everybody to pay attention in the third week of October. Kind of evaluate yourself. How am I censoring what I'm saying to people? And evaluate for your own life. How is that working for you? So people ask the question, they say, well, I'm willing to die for my right to freedom of speech. And on that same note, this may be controversial, but are you willing to kill for your right to the freedom of speech? Very profound, very provocative, but to the starting of our country, that was one of the principles that we were willing to go to war for. In closing, the third week of October is Freedom of Speech Week. Think about it, pray about it, ponder it, experiment, express yourself, be careful, but please push the limits and express yourself. Mr. Toastmaster.